Hello everybody, in this video I'll be showing you how to set up FTP on a Windows 2016 server and how to isolate users into their own folders. We're working inside GNS3 and this is my Windows 2016 server, and after setting up FTP on this server we'll be testing it from the Cisco router R1 with two different usernames. So I'm right clicking on my server and I'm selecting custom console to get into the server, and first thing we need to do is create a root directory where our FTP stuff will be saved. So on the C drive I'm just going to right click and say new folder, and I'm just going to call this FTP folder, and because we want to separate users we go into this folder and we now need to create another folder. So I'm going to say new folder. This is inside, so FTP underscore folder, that's like our root FTP folder. Inside that we make another folder called, and it has to be exactly this one can't be whatever you want, local, and then user, written like that. And then if you go into the local user, here's where you can put your actual users you're going to have on the system. So we're going to put two users here. I'm just going to make one called Jack, and we'll create another folder, say new folder, and call the other folder Jill, just like that. So just to show you again, this folder structure has to be correct if you want to isolate users into their own folders. So the first folder you can pick, which I've picked FTP underscore folder, that doesn't matter. And inside there you need local user, written like that, and then your actual usernames that you're going to be using, Jack and Jill, whatever, you put them in there. So now we need to create these users. So right click on the start button, we select computer management, and we go to local users and groups. First going to make a group, so right click here, new group, and this is just going to be called FTP underscore group. Of course you can call it whatever you like, and then we're going to create some users. So right click on the user and say new user, and all I really need here is the name, is Jack, and you give him the password Jack as well, Jack, J-A-C-K. You might find when you do this yourself that you can't just pick any password, and that's because I've changed the settings to allow it to take simple passwords. So you might have to use a more complex password. So I'm selecting a user, cannot change password, and password never expires. Create, and that's Jack, and then we do Jill's one, Jill. We go to password, Jill, confirm password, Jill, and you say user cannot change password, password never expires, and you select create. Okay, now you select close, and then you go to your users. There's Jack and Jill, and you right click and you say properties, and you say member of, and you want to add them to that FTP group that you made. So selecting here advanced, find now, we're browsing for the FTP group, there it is. Say OK, OK, that's done. So just to show you that one again, if we go into the first one, Jack, you just double click on him, he's a member of FTP underscore group, and go into Jill, member of, and we need to still add it to FTP underscore group. So here I can just type it in, just say FTP underscore group. Of course, if I couldn't remember the name, I could click advanced and then browse for it. So I just say check names afterwards, and it confirms that that is a valid name, FTP underscore group. Press OK. So now we've set up the folder and we've set up the username. So now we go to click that start button, server manager. I have already installed try add roles and features, I've already installed Internet Information Services in FTP, so I can just go into it by selecting Tools, Internet Information Services Manager, and on the left hand side here, click that arrow, and then on Sites, right click, say Add FTP Site, and we give it any name we like. So let's just call this my FTP, doesn't really matter. Physical path, that's that directory we set up earlier, so it was C drive, and we're putting everything in FTP folder, so say OK. And remember, that's got other folders inside, for example local user, and then inside local user we've got Jack and also Jill. Click next, and in this case we want to use that IP address, and we're going to say no SSL, select next, and we want to have basic authentication, and we want to select specify roles or user groups. And I have for a second forgotten what I called the group, so I just right click here, say computer management, and here under groups it's FTP underscore group, so that's what I'm going to put in here, FTP underscore group, like that. We give read and write permission for anyone that belongs to the group. So Jack and Jill both belong to the FTP group, so they should be able to read and write to these folders. Specified roles or user groups, that's correct, and we selected basic authentication. Had we selected anonymous, it means a person can come in without a username and password, so press finish. But there's another step, we need to select FTP user isolation, and double click that to open it, and then we select username directory, disable global virtual directories here, so select that one, username directory, and then here on the right hand side we select apply. The changes have been saved. So now I'm just going to minimize this server, and we're going to router 1, and we're going to test this out. So firstly we're going to try Jack's account. So we can say copy running config to FTP : / Jack is the username, : Jack is the password, at, and then we put the IP address of the server 172.60.100.1. Press enter, and it wants us to confirm, is this the host address 172.60.100.1? Yes it is, and it's picking that file name. Off we go, let's see if this works. And it says 1361 bytes copied. So if I go back into my server, we select our folder here at the bottom, sorry, it's a bit slow, C drive, and we go into FTP folder and local user, let's see Jack, and there's the file inside Jack. And just to show you that Jill is still empty, there you can see it's empty. So I'm just going to minimize that. We're going to minimize our server. Let's go back into router 1. Let's do a second backup. So say copy running config. There's another way you can do that. Let me show you the other way. So you can go configure terminal, and you can say IP FTP username Jill, IP FTP password Jill, and let's get out of that, and we can say copy running config FTP : //. So now we're not putting the username and password in here because we've entered that in the global configuration. So the command is copy running config space FTP : / 172.16.100.1. Let's press enter, and that's fine. Let's try a different file name. We're going to call this Jules copy. Press enter. And it's writing Jules copy to the server, and it says 1463 bytes copied. So I'm going to go back to this 2016 server, and we open that folder we had opened earlier, and this is Jules folder, and there you see Jules copy. If I right click on it and say open with, you can open it with Notepad and confirm that this is a router backup. It's not laid out very nicely, but this is the backup of R1. Anyway, that shows you how to set up FTP on a Windows 2016 server with user isolation. Thank you for watching.